shit, look who I got. Are we getting into? We are not starting that. This is a very important person we got here. I am gonna restart because look who I got. We got Dave and my very special guest, Chad. What's up, man?
How are we doing tonight, everybody? I hope you're enjoying the apocalypse.
The apocalypse seems to be upon us. What are you biding your time with going on this whole COVID thing going on? What's Mr. Chad Epik doing?
Well, this whole time, it's a great first question because I see a lot of posts about people in the area. They're saying they miss professional wrestling. And right off the bat, let's stir the pot. That's a load of crap. Professional wrestling didn't go anywhere. Professional wrestling is still in the same spot you left it. The question I have for everybody, are you going to be in the same spot that professional wrestling, you let professional wrestling in? Because all these guys out here, you know what? You can go to the gym. You can practice your mic skills. So let's be honest. Half of New England doesn't know how to use a goddamn microphone. Hey, let's be honest. It's cut, paste, and dry A, B, and C promos from everyone. There is a select few group of people that know what they're doing when they say it. You can go to the gym, you can practice, you got the WWE Network, you got YouTube, you got Impact Plus, you got Ring of Honor, you got all these things that you could be checking out and learning and studying in, and yet all I see people are bitching about is they miss wrestling. Well, hopefully when they come back, they're going to be a lot better than they were when they left.
Well, that I started to talk about in these better interviews is from my perspective as a fan, and knowing a few of the men and the women behind the curtain, I feel a little set back because once everybody gets the green light, they're all going to wrestling's going to be flooded and everybody's going to want to go balls to the wall and do all sorts of kooky shit. And I don't want to use the word jinx, but I have to. I don't want to jinx the boys and girls, but I tell you, I hope we don't come out of the gates and just try to go so crazy that we start getting a lot of injuries and stupid things happen once everybody comes back. Do you think that could also be part of when we all get back to kind of some normality?
Well, when normality comes around again, and hopefully it will if people just listen to the CDC, I'm going to be a little, preach a little bit here. Just stay home. Stay the fuck home. Beat me if you have to. But Jesus Christ, just stay home. Listen to the CDC. Stop sharing articles on Facebook that are bullshit. Especially stop listening to the goddamn news. But when we get back to a little bit of normality, yeah, everyone's going to be, it's going to, like that first Saturday, every place is going to be running. There's going to be hundreds of companies running that first day. There's going to be one or two who are smart about it and are going to wait a second or two. And I'm hoping, like you said, that none of the people are like, I haven't been in the ring in months. I got to do a backflip off the top rope through 20 tables. And this is me saying that. The guy who, does the rated R hardcore crap. That's not something you want to do right off the bat. Let's welcome the fans back in. The first show that people should run is like, hey, we're back. Everyone, let's get together. Let's put on a show. Bring the fans back in. Charge like $5 or nothing at all. And just have a show for the fans. All right, because as mad as the workers are suffering, you fans miss us too. I know that.
We are definitely both same boat, maybe some more than others, because sometimes fans aren't hardcore fans and they don't go to all of the shows and they just get to some of the shows. But either way, we're all definitely feeling that punch of the wrestling being kind of canceled for now with everything else, obviously. I want to shoot back to the very beginning. You were talking about promo skills. I talk on these interviews a lot about what it takes for wrestling to all combine in a package to make it happen and to be able to pursue that dream of wrestling. And you did mention that promo skills are you didn't quite say it's a lost art right now, but you said a lot of boys don't know how to fucking do it on a regular basis. I would like for you, because you seem to be right off the bat high on that promo skill, give the fans a little insight on why promos are good and important and what it does for the end game as a character when it comes to promos.
Promos in general, that's how, no matter how many flips or dips or, things you do in that ring, that just means they're there. But how do you get them to that point? Promos. You tell the story. Yes, you can do it in the ring. Very well, some people can. But the very best guys like Piper, the American Dream, Ric Flair, they would draw you in and your ticket is already sold and your number's punched well before that big match even happens because of what they said. If you think about it, a lot of these guys right now, we're still talking about American Dream promos. We're still talking about The Rock promos, Stone Cold promos, Roddy Piper promos. These are promos that, haven't been done in years. They're decades old, yet we still look back at them because we remember them. They're just as big as moments as Hogan slamming Andre, in my opinion. You remember the promo, the very first Piper's Pit. That's one of the best things of wrestling ever. Yeah. Ric Flair talking about his Rowflex. Everyone quotes it.
Yep. Yeah. We remember those important times in history of wrestling because those are the things that really stick out for very specific reasons. And like you're saying, the mouth, the gift of gab to portray the story to us before they get in the ring is like you're saying, it's an important tool to have. Could you give advice? Because you seem to have been in the game a little bit. We're going to get into that quickly. Could you give some advice to an upcoming wrestler? Somebody may be getting in the game or been in it for a year or two, and that doesn't really have quite their feet wet and a solid promo feel or how to utilize the tools to do it. Give some advice to the boys and girls on kind of how to approach that.
It's like anything in professional wrestling. Practice. Practice makes perfect. Driving, showering, taking a crap, walking down the street, promo. You hear a line in a movie from the 1930s. I'm guilty of it. I'm like, hey, that's a good line. I can make a promo out of that. I could use that line. I've done it. My phone is full of notes from one-liners, from movie quotes, from things that will work. Just keep doing it. Always have some sort of notebook from your phone to actual pen and paper on you. Write stuff down because you're going to be coming up with something maybe while taking a shower. Be like, oh, I'm going to forget that as soon as I get out. Hey, Google, record this. As my phone is now recording this. And I do that. That's what you need to do. Always write down. I have a plethora of nicknames I've gotten through the years, either given to me or I've come up with just by doing stupid little promos, either while in the bathroom or walking or driving or, going from show to show. I'm on the road a lot. At least I was before this whole thing,
Mm-hmm. It takes, again, a package to make wrestling dance and flow and get it all going and make it look good. Now, I don't know pretty much anything about Chad Epik because we've only met just a very small, maybe a handful of times out in the Rhode Island area. You were being a manager, guiding the Middlesex Express, Stephen Lust and Broad. And your mouth, you make it known, you make it out there, and you elevate the Stephen Broad and Stephen Lust. Just with your mouth, you come up and you elevate them guys to the fans and you make it known that, listen, you're listening to me right now. My boys are the best on the planet. You can't say shit about it because this is what I'm saying. You own that when you come out of the curtain. How long did that take to get that comfortability? And how long have you been in the business?
I've been in the business. I'm actually going in my 11th year right now. I was trained by guys Rob Fertuli, who's known as Plague, Alex Jace, a student of superstar Richard Burns, and of course the guy who actually took me under his wing and showed me the most out of this business, Brickhouse Baker. Mm-hmm. Me and the Middlesex Express will give all the credit in the world to Brickhouse. I would be absolutely nothing and nowhere without him. I'm a manager. I have been to some of the top promotions in this country because of the knowledge Brickhouse has gave me. Now, the Middlesex Express, my tagline since day one, my little thing people always ask me about is APMO or APMO. Always putting myself over. Now, people ask, well, that's not how it's done. That's exactly how it's done, because who else is going to put me over or my guys over like me? The answer? No one. APMO is what we are, all right? You got to put yourself over to get to that next level. But in the process of doing that, you're also going to make your opponents look damn good. All right? I've been with the Middlesex Express pretty much since the beginning. I called their very first match when I dropped my tag team, the Firebirds, from House of Bricks and Showcase, and we wrestled all over. I dropped them and I joined the Middlesex. And since then, we've been unstoppable. We've been all over New England. We've won tag team gold all over.
Yeah.
We're a hell of a trio. They're the best commodity in tag team wrestling. Right now, they're doing their own thing. I mean, right now we're all sitting at home, but, when things get back normal, we got Pimp Daddy Apple Cinnamon, and we got, the right stuff, Stephen Luss. I mean, look at him. He's oozing sex appeal. Both of those guys alone are amazing. Together, all three of us, we're unstoppable.
Now, I have seen over a short course over the last few months, there has been the Apple Cinnamon Daddy, correct? Is
yes.
The Apple
Pimp Daddy Apple Cinnamon.
Oh, yeah, Pimp Daddy Apple. Now, the Middlesex Express have kind of taken a different, should I say, hiatus for now. Could you give us, the fans, and for you fans that don't know the Middlesex Express, you're missing out on a little something, because those guys come out and they put on a show. They own the ring. They own their promo skills. They walk in and they tell the fans what's up, and they really do a fantastic job. And again, mostly I've seen them based out of Rhode Island. What the hell? Please give the fans some insight of the Middlesex Express, please.
Well, what do you want to know? It's if you're a fan of New England, you know who the Middlesex Express is. We have been everywhere, all over New England. All right, from the top of Maine to the bottom of Rhode Island to Connecticut, we've been there. We are considered the greatest commodity in tag team wrestling. Now, right now, yeah, we're not on a hiatus. We're just doing our own thing. At a moment's notice, if you need the Middlesex Express, we're back. We're a family. My whole entire group, the initiative, my congregation, we are a family. Sometimes we fight, sometimes we argue with each other, but as a collective whole, we're always a family, no matter what. Hell, every Christmas we get together, we have a Christmas at my little, steadfast, my fortress. We have a Christmas party every year. Been doing that for 9 years now.
Wow. Oh, I've done a couple Kincaid file interviews, if you will, real quick, those little promos that I kind of cut.
I've interrupted a few of them.
So gracious with your time. You never said no. You gave your A game no matter what. That's something that is hard to achieve all the time in wrestling. Keeping on that A game. I see some men and women, sometimes they're really, really good, with their promo skills and trying to be part of that camera thing. And sometimes they're not. But it's a roller coaster with them sometimes. But you guys, you're on fire every single time. It's hard to how do you do that? Is that something that's learned? Is it something that's taught? Or how does that come about?
It's us. We don't. There's no off button for us. We're we all the time. You'll come see me at a show. When have you ever seen me not be me? Before the show, after the show, in the middle of the show, I'm in a suit. I am selling something for a reason, and my cat keeps trying to steal my computer for some reason. That's why I just tipped over. But that's just what people need to realize. It's just, this isn't just something you turn off. When you come talk to us, that's who we are. That's who we always are. There's no on or off button. You don't just turn it off. There's a camera. There's a microphone. We're us. We will always be us. We always have been us. Now, we've evolved over the years because we've learned. We learned what to do, what not to do, little things that make it memorable.
Mm-hmm. I've seen Middlesex Express for my very first time at XWA Center. I believe it was either like an adrenaline rush or maybe like a Minutemen kind of thing was going on. I can't remember. I got so many things, but that was like a few years ago. And I'll tell you one thing: you weren't managing, and even if you were, it would have been a little bit. Those guys, they put such an impression on me and my dad because I take him to all the shows with me, and I go, I absolutely love these two. My dad goes, they make me sick. I go, that's what they're supposed to do. But that's what they're supposed to do. I love them. You hate them. That's their job. I just kind of like the little, the faces, their mannerisms, the whole kind of little sleaziness about the Middlesex Express is just fucking fire, man. I love everything about it.
No, that's honestly that's who we are. That you see a lot of guys, and I saw someone post about this before. That you people are jerks in the ring, and then when we go over to try to sell stuff, we're all super nice. That's not who we are. If we're jerks in the ring, we're jerks at the merch table. We're jerks before the show. I'm a jerk to sell you things, but guess what? I am the platinum tongue pugilist for a reason, and I am the paragon of promotion. No matter what I have, you're buying. You've tried my hot sauce. It's fantastic. And people buy it. That hot sauce has gotten me and my boys a few bookings because they're like, yeah, bring the sauce. I'm like, I'll gladly bring it. I'll give the promoter a free jar, sure. But this is our price. Give us our envelopes.
The hot sauce, how did that ever get injected to the Middlesex Express and yourself?
Well, I've always been a fan of hot, spicy things. I love to cook. If I wasn't wrestling, I'd own a food truck. I like greasy spoon, deep fried food. It's probably my biggest vice. The hot sauce was it's something that came about naturally. It was just hook them up and just boom, you landed the hot sauce right on the mush. And it's just organic that I just happen to be selling hot sauce too.
Yeah,
I mean, the holy water works. It's the tag team. We have been in the tag against some of the best tag teams around. We've been against the Ugly Ducklings, Minutemen, Cool People, who I miss dearly. I love kicking the crap out of them. Same thing with the Heavy Hitters. We've been in the ring with the Ugly Ducklings. Did I already say them? I'll say them twice because they really are that good. We've been in and we hold our own. Our win-loss ratio is pretty damn good against these. We were the first ever and last ever House of Bricks tag team champions. We are the first ever Elkmania New England tag team title holders. It's NCW tag team champions, RWA tag team champions. We won them all because that's what we do. And we will hold our own against any tag team we're put up against. And you're going to remember it. You're going to remember that match every single time.
I have to say, I went to RWA for my very first time maybe a year or two ago. It was a legacy show, which was like your banger for the year.
Yep.
Dude, you guys went against Team España, and I filmed the whole match. That was actually one of the very first whole matches that I've actually filmed because I wasn't doing a whole lot of whole matches. I was just doing little itty bitty clips. And that match right there was my very first recorded full match, if I'm not mistaken. And I look back on that match all the time and I pick out these little things and I'm like, this is why I love these MFers. They're so much fun. They're so entertaining. They're banging in the ring. And I mean, they just give the fans their money's worth every single time.
Jose and Hose B are actually some of our favorite people to get in the ring with because no matter how good we are, we still need a good dance partner. And I can honestly say that maybe half a dozen times we've taken them on, it's never been bad. It's always been a challenge. It's always been a fight. Those guys, them and the Ducks and MSP. Pretty much every tag team we've ever faced has been fantastic, actually. Who am I kidding? Everyone from Adrenaline Rush to the Hitters to Cool People. There was this stretch of time, it was like a 2-year stretch of time where it was Middlesex Express, Heavy Hitters, Cool People. No matter where we went, that was one of the combinations you were going to get. And obviously, one of the Heavy Hitters has now gone on, has left the business. Both of the Cool People are doing their own thing, killing it in their fields. And we're still here. The last 6 years, we're still a tag team. What does that say, you know?
Hey, like you said, you have gold everywhere. You walk in the door, you win gold. I mean, that's kind of what the Middlesex Express and Mr. Chad Epik are all about, man. You've had so many gold tag team championships. What's the longest, because I don't know, again, I don't know a whole lot about the Middlesex Express. What's the longest reign they've been running or have ran as a tag team? You have that maybe?
Probably the House of Bricks tag team titles. We had it for over a year.
Wow.
We had a tournament to crown the first ever. House of Bricks, of course, just recently closed his doors. Brick House, after 11 years, decided to close down. He did it in the right time too. Look what's going on. But we had that for over a year. Then we were screwed. The Baker boys screwed us. I will stand by that. John Cena Sr. Banned me from managing the Middlesex Express and slapped me over at the commentator table. So I couldn't manage them. And then they was like, oh, by the way, you guys are doing a hardcore match. Oh, Chad Epik can't get involved or you guys are fired.
Wow. Well, those are some heavy stipulations, but
John Cena Sr. does not like me. And I travel, I see him at a lot of shows, and every time he gets in my face for no reason. I have never said anything, a cross word about him. Ever. I swear. Once or twice. He's dropped me on my head a few times. You know what? For a 73-year-old man, that son of a bitch is strong. I am not a small person, and he can pick me up with ease. That's terrifying.
Your character as Chad Epik in wrestling, it has to be larger than life and like over the top, like crazy wackadoo. That's Mr. Chad Epik. He's got the crazy colors. He's always looking good though. He's got the blazers and everything. He's looking very, very tight. Very loud colors. Very loud mouth. The hair is always crazy. I would like you to give the fans some insight of how the character of Chad Epik, and if it's not a character, just take us on a run of where Chad Epik, the character, came from and how it's evolved to now.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's not a character. It's me. I make no bones about it. I'm a dick. I have always been a dick. If I have something to say, I say it. Look, you just spit all over your keyboard. It's one of those things. Why do I need to keep my mouth shut? Why should I stop promoting my people and myself? I was at a show years ago. I was working for Trooper Gilmore at New World Wrestling Extreme. I was commentating, ring announcing, and helping with stuff backstage. I had one of the guys, I'm not going to say his name because I'm not all about, that whole friggin' bullcrap, but he comes up to me and he's just like, hey, you need to stop peddling. You're outselling the boys. So I looked at him, picked up the microphone, and was like, well, this guy right here wants me to stop selling my shit, my merch. But I looked at him dead in the face. I'm like, how about you step up your game, Mr. Veteran of 25 years, and learn actually how to talk and sell your stuff? Because not only was I selling my merchandise, I was selling the people I managed merchandise. I was walking around and selling stuff for everyone that was selling, because that's your job as a ring announcer. You were hyping it up. You were being the king of promotion, which I was doing. But he got offended because I was selling more merchandise than him. See, if I have something to say and it's got me in trouble, and there's some places I'm not welcome back, because if something happens, I will speak up about it. If it's a load of crap, I'm going to say it.
It is what it is at times. Like you're saying, I could see your point. You're trying to project the brand, and without you projecting such, who's doing it? Who's going to do it? You know what I'm saying? So, hey, somebody's got to project the brand.
We all have a brand to protect. We all have a brand to sell. You're not going to sell my brand as good as me, and I'm not selling your brand as good as you. It's that simple. Now we can help each other out and selling each other's brand, like doing this podcast thing. Because you know damn well I'm going to plug all my stuff on it. And I'm going to post it all over my social media. I have close to 10,000 followers across the board. And I'm going to friggin' follow. Yeah. Don't forget, I've wrestled every single state this side of Mississippi. I've worked in every single state this side of the Mississippi. I've been to Canada. For a manager, I've done a lot. And the people that don't like me are the ones who stay in their hometown and work once or twice a goddamn month and tell me that I'm doing something wrong.
Well, it's funny you kind of touched upon that, because there's a few fans that when I've been gaining some talent to do this Stir in the Pot interview thing, I take my calendar and I share specific dates or specific names with some of the fans that I'm associated with. And all of them, when I said, I got Chad fucking Epik, and they're like, oh my God, that's fucking Epik. And I'm like, dude, you guys know of Epik? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's awesome, man, you know? So you've been around, you've traveled the roads, you said you've driven a lot, because it takes the drives to make wrestling happen. Without it, you're kind of fucked. Road stories I like to maybe talk about a little bit, because there's always got to be a little, at least one funny kind of ha-ha story maybe you can share with the fans. May it be yourself on the road or with others. It doesn't matter who it is. You got something that kind of sticks out and a funny ha-ha?
I mean, it wasn't funny at the time, but I mean, there's a lot of road stories I have that I can't share. I will definitely be banned for life. When you travel with someone like Rob Marsh or the Era of Violence, Mr. Billy Vox, our car time is our car time. I always tell people, if you're pissed off and you got something you want to get done, because say there is someone like you're working with a WWE legend, or you're working with someone who has a bigger name than yourself, who actually has been doing this longer, shut the fuck up and leave it for the car ride home. That's what the car ride home is for. You don't want to be bitching in the locker room and make yourself, to be a whiner. A lot of people do that. They want to bitch and moan. Well, why is he going over? I have a lot of people I've worked with. I've helped a lot of promotions start up, helping with the book and stuff. And every single one, without fail, you'll always get that one Bob Holly guy. I got a great idea. Let's put the belt on me and I beat everybody. Like, really? What the fuck? You haven't drawn a dime in your life and you think I'm going to put a friggin' belt on you because you asked for it? But one story, I was driving to a show, this is about 4 or 5 years ago. I used to have this really old Volvo, 96 Volvo wagon. When it finally died, it had 431,000 miles on it. It was a tank. It was a legit tank. Driving down the highway, and my tire just implodes everywhere. So I couldn't pull over to the left, so I had to pull over to the right, and I ended up closing a 3-lane highway down. I'm sitting there in my alligator shoes, my bright pink suit with alligator pink shoes. I have a car full of barbed wire bats, stop sign, guitars, chairs, tables. And it's just blocking off 3 lanes of highway. And people are just staring at me. And I mean, I'm just waving, thinking I'm probably going to get shot because of this. The dude in the pink suit with alligator shoes. That was definitely, that was about an hour worth of traffic. There was also one, I got pulled over one night. There's my cat behind me. I was with Rob Marsh. It was after one of our, as you know, we do a lot of the deathmatch stuff. I see Battlefront recently has adopted that style. Rated R was one of the first, is the first, no matter what, the ultra violent in New England. We were driving home from a show. I got pulled over. Rob Marsh is in my passenger seat. He just had one of his matches, so he's a little bit bloody. And, a little out of it. He got hit in the head a lot. Get pulled over. The cop just comes over. Oh. Yeah. Looks at him, looks at me. I have to get out. Sir, open your trunk. Oh. I open the trunk, and once again, barbed wire, bats, chairs, just a plethora of gaggle of bloodied weapons. Cop kind of just goes, looks over at me. I'm like, officer, I can explain. I'm into some really kinky shit. And he just has this mortified look. I'm like, no, I got him to chuckle, so that's a plus. But I'm like, no, we do professional wrestling. This is props that we use in the wrestling. And he's just looking at me like, just slow down, as he's trying not to laugh at me. And I mean, you have a half-dead Rob Marsh in the front seat, a bunch of bloodied weapons in the back. It looks like a damn murder.
Oh, man. Those are the things we would never find out unless Mr. Chad Epik shared with the fans. So I thank you for those little stories. Those are awesome.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I'm hoping to get back. I mean, I very much miss the deathmatch scene. I've been in a lot of, the locker rooms I have been in, working with guys at the deathmatch scene. They are the nicest people I've worked with. They'll kill you in the ring. But it's as strong as the brotherhood is in wrestling. For some odd reason, I never understood it. Wrestling and deathmatch, those guys are beyond tight. I will share a ring with Jeff Cannonball any day. He has one of the best rights in the business. At outside the box, he knocked my friggin' beard off. I, for some odd reason, grew a pair and slapped him in the face. And I thought Rob Marsh was behind me. Rob Marsh was still out cold. I turned around. I'm like, oh no, that was not good. I tried to offer him money, hot sauce, whatever, and he just popped me and then cannonballed me and friggin' actually ended up fracturing my orbital socket with his cannonball. Oh, I had one hell of a whiplash after that. It sucks.
You speak of the death match. Could you take us on a ride? Because not everybody in wrestling can appreciate that form of wrestling.
Well, some people absolutely hate it.
And I'll give you that. Can you kind of give us the fans, take us on a ride of why you like the death match? What brings you into that world? Because it's a different environment than anything that I'll have to say traditional wrestling is. There's a lot of weaponry. There's anything from fucking weed whackers, so you name it, they're using it.
Those suck. Weed whackers suck.
Take the fans on a ride that have never even, maybe possibly not even heard of death matches before, and just give us some insight on the death match scene.
Well, I'll be full of, like I am always. I used to hate deathmatch wrestling. I used to call it garbage wrestling. And I used to give Rob Marsh so much crap for it. Rob Marsh is the guy who got me into wrestling. He's the one who dragged me out of WAW, as everyone knows, was a place up in New Hampshire. It was very frowned upon by a lot of the guys in New England. He dragged me out of there and he brought me onto the independent scene. And I used to give him all the crap in the world about deathmatch wrestling. Like, why would you do that, this or that? And then he took me to a few shows, and I met a few of the guys and did a few this and a little more, and I fell in love with it. It's something about the adrenaline, like the fans. I believe one of these times I will get stabbed at a deathmatch show. We were at IWA Mid-South, one of the biggest deathmatch companies in America. At least at one point it was. It was Rob Marsh versus Brian Woods. Woods went to smash Rob with a chair. I'm on the outside, and I ripped it out of his hands. Do you know what happens when you deny deathmatch fans blood?
Shit goes down.
They wanted my head, so he went for another chair, and me being a smart man, I did it again. I ripped the chair out of his hand again. And I told the fans, fuck off, you ain't getting no more blood today.
Oh, shit.
The ultra violent beast, Brian Woods, reported by grabbing 2 syringes and stabbing them in Rob Marsh's head. Deathmatch wrestling, the fans are insane. They are bloodthirsty. But I've never not sold less than $150 of merchandise with shirts and stuff at a deathmatch show. The fans will buy everything you're selling. I always sell out of hot sauce. I always sell out of shirts. They buy everything with your name on it, all your 8x10s. They appreciate you putting your body on the line. And it's not me physically doing it. It's happened a few times. I've gotten caught once or twice, and that sucked. With a kendo stick or Singapore cane, a light tube, it's not fun. They're not gimmicked. It's real glass. It's real steel chair. It's real nails. I've had a flyer stapled to my face. I've had someone bust a crutch that chipped my tooth. I have 13 staples put in my head because I decided to take a chair shot flat on the face. I'll send you the link to the match, but I don't get in the ring very often because I shouldn't be. I'm a manager. I'm auxiliary character. I know my place. I don't belong in the ring. I never wanted to be a full-time wrestler. I'm good at what I do. I talk, and I'm good at it. I get paid to do it. Now, deathmatch wrestling, I get to do it a little bit more. And when you're told by a promoter you can say whatever you want, there's no restrictions. Someone like me, that's gold. I can say, do whatever I want. No restrictions? Fantastic.
You, if I'm not mistaken, are a promoter yourself for deathmatch wrestling, are you not?
I am. Rated R has a very interesting story. Rated R Wrestling was the first really deathmatch promotion in New England. I've run 5 shows. 4 of them did very well. One of them was a complete failure. I have gone online on many deathmatch groups. I've done interviews about it. It was a complete bomb. It failed horribly. I lost so much money on that. But on the other side, everyone on that show did get paid. I paid for the ring rental, the building, the sound equipment. Everyone we talked about, everyone got paid. You can actually ask guys like Alexander Lee. I made sure that they got taken care of. And I went out and I said, yeah, that was my show. It was fucked from the beginning. My main attraction didn't show up till 10 o'clock. I went through 3 buildings for Rated R. I was supposed to do shows down in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Some asshat decided to call the local police, local authorities, and they shut me down. 3 separate times. Supposed to do a VFW show in Rhode Island. Someone decided to call up this town and say, well, they're doing this, they're doing drugs, blah, blah, blah. And the town put a kibosh on it. This has happened to me on Rated R at least 4 times now. Because people don't have enough balls. It's like, hey, and that's my other cat. But no, it's one of those things, like, they don't like that style of wrestling, so they want to get it shut down. I tell this, you don't like that style of wrestling, don't buy a ticket, don't watch it. Same people who are against gay marriage. You don't like gay marriage? Don't have a gay wedding. You have no right whatsoever to stop someone else from doing something just because you don't like it. That's like me going to a Subway. I don't like roast beef sandwich. You order one in front of me, and I say you can't have that. That's bullshit. Let people live their life. It's not your style. Cool. Rated R Wrestling, I make sure everyone is paid. I make sure I always have an EMT or nurse on standby is at every one of my shows. The people in the ring know what they're doing. I trust everyone I've ever booked. There's a stigma that comes with, wrestling. And I'll say this, I will put Rob Marsh in the ring, Don, with anyone, and he will out-wrestle them each and every time. And on top of that, he will bloody them if need be. Same thing with Vox. All right, those 2 guys are the toughest son of a bitches I've worked with, but they will out-wrestle you as well. Mm-hmm. Rob Marsh, he was trained by Maverick Wild and Lobster Man. That should say enough about his skill alone, right there.
Is it hard to find talent to book in deathmatch?
No. Talent's easy to find. It's the building that's impossible now. Okay. I'll get the building, but then some little, white hat person will go behind me. Oh, they're doing this.
I've seen, you mentioned Battlefront. I've seen a couple things over there. I'm not a deathmatch guy. Like, I appreciate that art form, and I can watch a match or 2 or whatever, but an evening of kind of gets my stomach's a little queasy, and I'm too skinny to have a queasy fucking stomach. I do appreciate the art. I've watched, the older CZW to kind of get a feel of what the whole deathmatch thing was, and I've seen some other stuff. I've seen the IWA and whatnot, but I've seen a match at Battlefront Pro Wrestling, and it has left a mark on me for my entire life. And I know what I just said, that I probably couldn't hang through a whole show. But I watched Dirtbag Dan and Len Oddity get in that ring. They took the ropes down. And when I mean they wrapped the ring with wire, they did not fuck around, man. There was barbed wire, and it was amazing. My hair, just talking about it right now, is standing on the hair. I'm telling you. So I might have to revert that what I just said is I could not. But that one match was well worth the drive itself. And it is a true separate art form than traditional wrestling is. So whenever you guys and girls get in that fucking ring, because the girls are not afraid to do it.
No.
I give you guys 1,000,000% credit for putting your body through such, and I'll use the word torture because I've seen some of that crazy shit. It's fucking torturing your body. So I got to give you guys, to pull off that art form takes a lot of fucking shit, man.
Well, let's see. Dirtbag Dan is a guy I'm actually he's a friend of the initiative. Managing him up in Matt and Muscle up in Maine. I manage him up there now. Len Oddity, I was able to convince, he was retired a few years ago. He was done with wrestling. I am very happy to say, like him and a few of his boys, the Sideshow, I'm not sure how long you've been around. The Sideshow is one of Len's old tag team stables. I was able to get pretty much 95% of them out of retirement, Len included, to wrestle at Rated R4, 4.20. It was my 420 show. Rated R, like you said, some people are squeamish. They can't do a whole show of that. And I get that, and I understand that. That's why Rated R is a mixed bag. We have women wrestlers, comedy, high-flying, tag team, the hardcore stuff, and then, of course, we like to end it with the deathmatch stuff. Because, then we get in there and we kill each other. We have to have fun. We had a beautiful match at RWA 4.0. It was, what was it? It was Izzy Starr versus Insane Dick Lane versus Judge Logan Chambers. And it was a reefer on a pole match. The referee, Jeremy Bell, if you know Jeremy Bell at all, he enjoyed that stipulation very well. Halfway through the match, Judge Chambers was very upset about the stipulation, so he stopped the match in the middle of it and says, "This is illegal. This is Rhode Island. You can't be having this type of stipulation." So Izzy, the ref, and Dick Lane all took out their green marijuana cards, their medical marijuana cards. So Judge left the match.
No, he didn't.
Oh, yeah. He just you know what? I'm done. I can't do this. It was, and then as the match was concluding, you had to climb up the Vince Russo style, climb up, grab the pole. As they're fighting, the fans were cheering. This was at the Chop Shop, and there were about 40, 50 people there. If you've been to the Chop Shop, I'm sure, that's a good house at the Chop Shop. And they're all cheering, "Share the prize." All the fans were cheering this. So Izzy and Dick Lane took it upon themselves. They grabbed it at the same time. It was a burlap sack. It had oregano. It had Mountain Dew. It had Doritos. It had Hostess cupcakes. And it was a grab bag. And they shared it with them and Jeremy Bell. It was great. And it was one of those organic things that the fans were like, "Share it." And they're like, "Okay." And so everyone was a winner in that match.
Yeah, man. Those are the things. And I've mentioned before, because I've spoken to Bobby Rossi.
Yeah.
I've spoken to Todd Graham. And
two Caillou looking motherfuckers.
I also have Mr. Insane Dick Lane himself coming on.
Nice.
I've got the Mighty Bosch coming in. There's Asana is coming on. I want to get some of that Rhode Island flavor on Stirring the Pot, because I've discussed with Mr. Rossi and Mr. Graham that Rhode Island is a different flavor than what you're used to than around here in Connecticut, because you still tell your stories, you have your storylines, but things are just a little bit more, I'll use the word gimmicky or comical on a regular.
Well, so you're saying that. I'm going to cut you. What shirt are you wearing right now? Sully Banger, right? Have you not been to Providence Wrestle Party?
When it very first started, I told him I would be there, and I missed the boat. And I'm a stupid son of a bitch, and I have yet to go there, but I watched from a distance. That's no excuse. I'm a fucking asshole. I should be going to the Wrestle Party shows, and it is what it is.
Fun stuff that's a little bit different. Get him on your damn show. I'm telling you this right now. Have you ever seen a Choose Your Own Adventure wrestling match?
I've seen over at the Wrestle Party. There's like the delivery guys coming in, and there's Fred Durst, and there's aliens, and there's all sorts of shit going on over at the Wrestle Party, man.
I mean, it's right now at Wrestle Party. When they come back, my goal there right now is to not do any of that. I have in my employment Bill Vox, Bloody Bill, and Slade.
Ooh.
Yeah, our only job right there is just to hurt people right now. No one else does that there. We're not there for jokes. We're not there for ha-ha funs. We take large inanimate objects and beat people with them. And then we take those people and we beat the other people with those people. It's just what we do now.
So you have an acquisition of Slade?
Yes.
What?
Slade is a very close friend of the initiative, my friend.
Wow.
I have a lot of bald, mean bastards on my team.
I did not. I mean, that I got. You saying Slade, it's kind of thrown me aback because he's in my area a little bit, because I travel to Massachusetts. Not too bad. How does one Chad Epik acquire a guy like Slade who's on the upcoming right now?
Hey, you want to hurt people? Yes, I do. Come with me.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, pretty cut and dry right there.
I'm not you don't always have to put a sales pitch in.
Yeah.
All right, a long time ago in another life, I used to sell Kirby vacuums, and I was always the top seller every month. I used to sell Cutco knives, and guess what? I was the top seller every month. I still have my Cutco knives in my kitchen. They're fantastic.
You know what's funny? My mom was doing that. I got the scissors. I got the big knife. I got the fork. I got the little knives.
They're fantastic. They cut anything.
Are you guys getting this shit? Me and Chad Epik, we got fucking Cutco knives.
Yeah, Cutco knives are great. They're good, and you know what? As long as you own them, you send them back. They'll sharpen them and send them back.
Oh God!
Did you know that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. That was fantastic. I did not see that coming whatsoever.
I like to cook, and when I cook, I need to have a good amount of. I need to have the right equipment to cook. It's anything in life. I tell everyone this: if you're doing a certain job, you need the right tools. In professional wrestling, I have a certain thing where I'm going to make moments, and people are going to remember. Win, lose, draw, people will remember me and my people. And to do that, I have certain tools, and every single time. I have been able, every tag team I've ever managed, I used to hate tag team wrestling growing up. Absolutely hated it. I would stop watching when it came on. Right? I have done nothing but manage tag teams the last 11 years. I manage, and every tag team I've ever managed, we have won gold or platinum or silver in every promotion. I have managed the heavy hitters for a bit in New World Wrestling Extreme. They were with Marquise Wright, who at the time when he was with me, for 4 years, we were the New World Wrestling Extreme champion, and we only lost 2 matches in that time. And that's out of 5-6 shows a year.
Keeping the tabs on your career, I know, like, I've spoken to Mark Adam Haggerty, and he writes every shit down. That dude can tell you how many promotions, how many people he's actually called for, the whole 9 yards. Managing a number of tag teams over the course of Chad Epik's career, is that something you've kept a tally of?
I actually keep all the 8x10s.
You do?
Yep. I'm not sure how good you can see behind me. That's actually, I have a good collection of people I've managed behind me.
So how many tag teams would you think that Chad Epik has probably or has managed over his course? Around.
Middlesex Express, the Era of Violence, Heavy Hitters, the Firebirds, and the Era of Violence.
Okay. All right. Any favorites or you
Middlesex
just run
Express,
with them all?
they're all my favorites, but if I honestly, everyone knows this, the Middlesex Express and me, we work well together.
I tell you, it's magic when you guys come walking in. Every single time, like I said previous, the A game is always on. The looking good, getting that nice gear, using your mouth, projecting, and giving the fans the signals. We're about to piss on you, and we don't give a shit.
No, we don't. Well, it's the thing. People, no matter where we are on the card, people remember us.
Yes.
People know who we are. They, like you just said, oh, Chad Epik's coming on, and a bunch of people. I'm not in Connecticut very often. You are. Everyone seems to know me down there, and the Middlesex Express. They know my guys. I try to make sure to promote. There's a favorite quote. There's something horrible happens when you don't promote. Nothing. Nothing is the worst thing that can happen in professional wrestling. If you come out through the curtain and nothing, no noise, nothing, that sucks. It's never happened to me. It never will happen to me. I'll make sure of that. It doesn't matter if there's 12 people in the crowd, there's 5, there's no one, or there's 1,500. I've worked in front of various amounts of people, from 5 to 15 to 2,000. It's insane. And it's the same amount of energy you're going to get no matter what.
No, I feel that, again, music and wrestling that I mention a lot, they're very compatible. They compare very easily to one another on many aspects of the spectrum. When there is 5 people or there is 2,000 people, do you get that nervousness when you come out the curtain at all still? Or do they kind of happen more at a smaller show or in front of a bigger crowd? Or do they even exist in Mr. Chad Epik?
I was told years ago by Brickhouse, if you stop getting that feeling before you go through the curtain, leave. You're done. I will, without fail, for 11 years, before the music hits, I always have to piss. Without fail. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter if I just came from the bathroom. You get that feeling. There was a split of time 2 years ago that I took about 3 months off.
Okay.
You'll look at the tape. It was me in the Middlesex Express at RWA. I come out. I'm wearing jeans. I'm wearing tennis shoes. And my shirt's untucked. I watched the tape back, and I called up that as soon as I was done watching the match, I hit up all the promoters. I'm like, listen, I can't make the rest of my dates this year. I apologize. I'm just not in the right state of mind. The music hit, and for the first time, and however long it was at the time, nothing. I was burnt. But that was the year I also pulled in 150 dates before November. I was doing 4 or 5 shows a weekend. There was one weekend I almost got murdered because I did 3 shows on a Saturday, 2 shows on a Friday, and a show and a half, I believe, because I left early on the Sunday show. Now, that's if it was all in one area, fine. But this was in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Maine. In one weekend, one 4-day, 3-day span. Do one show, get in the car, drive all the way down to Jersey, do that show, yada, yada, get back in the car, drive all the way up to friggin' Rhode Island, go to Massachusetts for that show. I was dead on my feet that weekend, but I made a shit ton of money. But no, burnout is real. It happens. I realized at that moment that I needed to step back, and I took about 2.5, 3 months off.
Now, I mentioned the boys and girls, when they get back, it's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy.
It's going to be insane.
Or do you think that this might be just a refresher that some of them need? Because you got to sometimes, like you said, you got to bring it down sometimes, take a little space for yourself, come back, and you're right back on your game. Do you think this might be a good refresher time for some of the men and women that don't want to stop?
Gear, you should be, if you're off time, listen, I'm a manager. I don't have to be in shape. I can be A shape. That's fantastic about my position. I got a bag of burgers sitting right in front of me. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to eat those burgers. And my cat just keeps trying to steal them. He doesn't eat them. He just wants them. But it's one of those things that this is the time you should be improving. Like I said before, the beginning of this, if you're in the business right now, you should be having a streaming service to go back. WWE, yeah, it's the big guys, and you're markish for watching it. No, damn it, they have stuff going all the way back to the 50s and 60s. You should be watching that. You should be learning from that. There's a reason that the Russian leg sweep super kick combo is the Middlesex Express's finisher. Who else does a goddamn Russian leg sweep?
It's so cool.
We use, one of my favorite things to do when the referee's mildly distracted for some reason, we'll do the abdominal stretch spot. Who does an abdominal stretch in 2020?
Not a whole, in our scene, in the indie scene, not a whole lot, because everybody wants to jump from the top rope. Everybody wants to fly as far as they can outside the ring and see how far they